Walk you. He's saying walk you. No, walk you. Phone.
Hey guys, what are we talking about right now? Because I don't think the people know what the hell we're talking about.
We're talking about a Mahjong anime called Akagi, where they pwn all kinds of people.
The question is, for the audience, what is Mahjong? Because I heard it's a combination of poker and Scrabble.
It's not Scrabble. I think it's just poker, but a weird Chinese way of playing it with dominoes style like things. I don't exactly know the details, but it looks like it's just a not European, Oriental style poker game.
Or even saying it's like poker, that's not that accurate. It's its own game, but the way you form hands is similar to how you can form some hands in poker, like triples and pairs and straights and color. They value single color hands too very highly.
I know nothing about this, but I watched it because it was an interesting art style and
I watched. It was recommended to me. I like poker, and I heard that this anime focuses on the game I've never heard of before. When you said Mahjong, I even thought it was that game they played in Summer Wars. So watching this, I honestly didn't know what the hell was going on. So
you and me both, buddy.
Akagi is a story about a gambler, a true blood gambler, which is very rare inside of both anime and manga, and even real life. You don't have 100% born gambler. So that's what Akagi is, the character. The story focuses on this guy. He's a genius, not just at Mahjong. He's just a genius gambler because he has the willingness just to throw his life away. That's, to him, his philosophy of gambling is the essence of a pointless death. Because you always, at some point, you will lose. You have to be willing to risk it all, even your life, to win. And that's basically the core of his being, as both a person and a gambler. So what Akagi, the series, is it follows him, and is mainly about Mahjong, him playing Mahjong. And the reason why I recommended this to people is because you don't actually need to know how to play Mahjong to enjoy the story. I mean, I'm sure it helps on a whole other level. No, I don't know how to play Mahjong. I still like the anime.
When the anime starts, he appears. I think there's already a Mahjong game going on, and by some coincidence, he turns up at the apartment just as this gambler who was obviously going to lose everything. I think he even bet. I think he had a really high debt.
Yeah.
His life was betted on that game.
Right.
And just as he's praying for a miracle, the miracle appears. In through the door comes Akagi. And the interesting thing is, you soon find out Akagi doesn't even know how to play the game anyway. He's never played Mahjong before, which is very interesting. So, you might start thinking that, he's an expert. He didn't know how to play the game. The early episodes, he's learning as he goes along. But as you said, you soon find out he's kind of a genius at these kind of games. So very, very interesting to see him dig the guy out of the situation. And that's where the anime starts. So.
Well, who do you want to talk about besides Akagi? Like his main protagonist? Because there's the detective. He's kind of important, but he's not that important.
Yeah, the characters surrounding Akagi, they seem to be kind of just tools to tell the story. You got the guy from the first episode who was about to lose his life, and Akagi saved him by, I don't think this is a spoiler. He saves him in the first game. That only happens in like the first 4 episodes or so anyway. So he rescues him from that game, and from then, him and that guy kind of become a team somewhat. And there's the cop that is after Akagi from the first episode, because obviously after the game of chicken, the police are looking for him, and that was a cop that was on investigation that night. And apart from that, I think you basically got the Yakuza, who are in most of the anime as well. And for a good portion of the anime, he's the group that they're battling.
He battles the Yakuza, but then he also works for the Yakuza, and I don't know. It just follows his game as he's going through life, I guess. Well,
I think he kind of makes it a point to show he doesn't work for anyone. He just it gets to the point where
he just wants to gamble.
Yeah.
And whatever gives him the best challenge or the best game, he'll go and play if he sees that it's worthwhile.
Yeah, so ironically, when it comes to character regarding Akagi, really the only person you kind of focus on is Akagi himself, and even him, you don't go into his background too much.
Yeah, what it is it's all these other people's perspectives of Akagi. No, nobody really knows who he is, what he came from, all this other stuff. He doesn't even explain to himself. It's just this, oh my god, this kid, he's awesome. He's a fucking badass gambler. And it's just all these people's opinions of him and not really him himself.
How long is the storyline? How long is the series in general?
Series? It's like 24, 25 episode, right?
It's 26 episodes.
It's 26?
Yeah. It's about 2 seasons, 2 12-episode seasons.
It looks that way, yeah. Even though it's 26, there's kind of a break, and there's a time shift as well, halfway through.
Yeah.
And it's worth noting that the storyline is kind of just battle-based. Like, over the whole 26 episodes, it's just like a series of 5 battles, I believe, or 5 or 4.
Let me count real fast. He has 1.
I believe it's about 4.
3.
But I could be wrong because they do involve other people.
4. 5.
Yeah.
He has 5 different opponents in the series.
Yeah, and during those battles, there might be the odd episode, I wouldn't even call it filler, more like a transition, maybe just a little bit of...
What's the setup of the battle? Like what the stakes are, all this other stuff, and why he's getting involved in it.
But really, it's just one long battle, or one battle after another. Yeah, but I wasn't bothered by the pacing. But anyway, let's move on to the animation.
Animation it's very crap, I think.
Yeah, it's not that good.
I'll say they have unique characteristics, but it's just one of those ones where the faces stick out more than anything else. Animation is almost non-existent other than, I guess, camera shifting and maybe a hand movement or two here and there. The rest is just a bunch of stills with a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, sometimes they use like computer graphics to give the room 3D feeling or something, and it's like not that good.
Yeah, it's very, very mediocre animation. They got away with the basic. It's very cheaply done.
I thought it was weird because it's the kind of animation where all the characters are drawn in black line as well.
Yeah.
The characters are outlines, which is kind of weird. It kind of looks like a weird comic. It is very unique, like you said. But I didn't think it was crappy. I just thought it was different.
Oh, well, I thought it was crappy. If you looked at like the way that the camera pans, the way that the character, like I guess character cells maintain their same position, yet the whole room tilts. There's not really that much of a 3D effect. They just kind of.
There's that one shot where Akagi's face was crooked.
Yeah.
Where you told me like you saw that his eyes were off center or something.
Yeah, his eyes are just the animation's not very good quality. He looked like he was had like one of those like lazy eyes and shit, and it was just all bad.
When they're playing the game, they try to hype the game by showing angles of them throwing the dice and throwing the cards.
It's not even that. They're fucking doing all kinds of ridiculous things, like putting all this like slow motion, like fucking $1 Million Man shit. Go, and then the fucking little tile just slams on there. Like, they don't have to fucking slam the fucking tile on there. Just
yeah, they do. You've never
don't.
played Mahjong before. They slam the tile.
They slam it so that it fucking makes this loud-ass sound?
Yes.
Really?
You must play it that way.
You must play it that way.
You must play it that way.
Slam on the table with all your strength, even if it breaks the table.
Hey, he's not using all their strength, but you must slam the tile.
Man, that's the kind of game I want to play. I thought it was
unnecessary. You want to learn how to play Mahjong.
I think the ironic thing with the animation is when I look at the game, I think to myself, it doesn't look exciting at all. So the way they've animated, they tried to make a game that is possibly kind of bland in real life look much more dynamic as an animation. And I thought it was very, very comedic. I thought they did that on purpose. How can you take a 360 angle of someone slamming down a fucking tile?
I think they did it on accident, made it funny, and they were trying to be serious all animated. They put all these after images of whenever they went and reached for the tile, And
Yeah.
there's this one scene where the dude reaches into this hole or with a sack.
Oh, and it looked-
He's just like,
Yeah.
"Ah, yeah, take that, you little hole," and you're just like, what the fuck?
You talking about the Washizu arc? Where they
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
draw from the
Those
center.
are different arcs and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just fucking ridiculous.
The one part, I know what you're talking about. The one part where Washizu is like, he's going nuts, like, where is my E-peen? And he's like digging in the hole. Oh, is this it? Oh, this is the E-peen. Yes, I can feel it.
Oh my god,
it's like
it's
fucking,
so square and hard. It's like, what the fuck?
He's like
What?
orgasmic while he's feeling the tiles in this dirty looking hole.
He's over there smiling the whole time with his little fucking green goblin looking ass and shit. It's just very disturbing. I think they were trying to be so serious, like making him look so evil, but it just made him look so fucking horrible, so fucking perverted. It was just bad.
There was that other guy earlier on. He had this funny set of teeth.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
He had the yuck mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, they drew the characters very, very distinctively. You know, very, very, very unique.
Very
You guys,
They had to
Flatteringly.
because there was no other way to distinct them other than their faces.
Yeah.
Because what else are they going to do? They're sitting at a table and you're just looking at their faces and the table of tiles, and it's just there's not much room for distinction in the characters. There's very little background of the characters. They're just kind of like, I'm your new opponent. Look at my face, and that's it.
Well, there was the very last one. They also changed up the rules a bit.
Didn't they do something different on each game though?
No, they didn't.
I think it was the same until the last battle, like
It
you just said.
was just different stakes was all.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the sound. Oh boy, what do you think of the sound?
The sound I actually think was the saving grace if you're talking about the animation and everything, because I did like a lot of the soundtrack. I thought it had a good mood setting and everything. Just when they're talking or explaining different things of the situation, they use like a handful of different songs and stuff that they already made for the soundtrack. I thought that was pretty good. And again, I mean, the anime where all they're doing is playing a tile-based game, there's not going to be a whole lot of different sound effects other than the soundtrack. I mean, they really had down the sound of the tile smacking the table too. I mean, props for that.
As hard as they smack the fucking tiles down.
Yeah, some of the voice acting was comical. Like Washizu, they wanted him to be like this crazy guy, but he sounded like a dirty old pervert, man.
I think there was a lot of unnecessary sounds, personally. They're fucking doing all these different grunts and little sounds that they're just very unnecessary. Like, huh? Oh, what? Oh, and you're just like watching it like, why do they have to keep grunting? He's over there grunting, like thinking out loud and doing all this other shit, and you're just like, what the fuck? Why doesn't everybody else just kind of turn and go, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of a lot that stands out about the sounds. Akagi, he didn't really talk much. He always kept his thoughts to himself. The thing I didn't like, I can't complain about the sounds, the way the characters acted. They're always moaning about, oh, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Oh my god, this is that.
That was a majority of the dialogue. I see what he's doing there. Why did he do that? No! He's doing it all wrong.
No!
Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my god, he did it. He could have done it, but I get it now. Oh, I figured it out. No, wait a minute. He did this instead. Ah!
Yeah, it's just a bunch of fucking
Yeah, so-
people bitching around in the background complaining about how this genius is playing up against this other guy, and most of it is just like grunts and shit. Like whenever he slams down a tile that nobody knows about, they go, oh, he put that tile down. You're just like, what the fuck? So dramatic and overly dramatic about everything in this damn anime. It was just really funny.
Yeah, there really wasn't any background music when they played. Just like you said, all them sounds that added to the cinematic effect they tried to put on the game. But obviously, maybe the saving grace, we'll start with the openings. I think Akagi had 2 openings for both seasons.
No,
one
he
and,
only had one opening. He only had one opening. He had 2 different.
no, you're right. It had 1 opening and 2 endings, but I really didn't like the first opening, and maybe that's because of the ending. But the opening was very, very just
It kind of just
mellow.
ends, which is like,
We're talking about the music.
yeah,
We're talking about the
music, the opening, it just fucking ends. It ends with the tile slam. The fucking thing, like, it's in the middle of like this big ass like chorus, and then the tile slams, and then it fucking ends, and then it goes on to the anime.
You're better than me because I never got that far. As soon as I hear the boring banjo, bang, 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 yeah.
It goes, Nanto Kanare, slam. You're like, what the fuck? He's like in the middle of saying and then just cuts off.
Didn't like that song. I don't know why I'm making it long. Didn't like the opening song. But that ending song now.
That ending song's badass. Fucking Jeff called me a freak whenever I was singing that out loud.
He's not saying fuck you, he's saying walk you.
I know, but it sounds like he's saying fuck you. It doesn't matter what he's really saying. What matters is what I hear.
Who's the artist that sings that song, and what's the title of the song?
Alright, Maximum the Hormone is the artist, and the song is Akagi. And it's like a heavy metal rock kind of ending song.
Oh, man, that song is going down as one of my favorite anime songs right now, man. That shit. Every time the anime ended, that just pumped me up.
I know. It's like, yeah, it's funny because it's like completely different from what the mood of the anime is. It's all relaxed and like tense, and then this one's just like,
fuck
you in your face.
As soon as I watch the outro, I'll play the intro again, and then that banjo bullshit slow me. And oh my god, why wasn't this the intro music? So I'll tell you, that's my biggest criticism of this anime. Right, actually, that is my biggest criticism of this anime. Why did you have that as the outro? Why wasn't that the intro? Why?
Really? That's the only thing you're gonna poke at it?
No, right now. But I can tell you right now, that is the biggest gripe for me, because that was such a great song, and it kind of, when I watched it, it kind of matched the spirit of the anime with the trying to make it so hyper and intense, and that song emphasized that. But then when it starts, you got this slow shit that it totally takes you out of it, you know. So that, yeah, I'll tell you right now, that is my biggest gripe with the whole show. Believe it or not, with the whole. I have other gripes, but that was my biggest gripe. But anyway, we're gonna get there now because we've covered everything else. So it's time for the breakdown.
For all my ratings, I put 6s all around the board.
Really? You're blasting it on the animation. You're gonna give it a 6?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6. The proportions were okay. They had huge fucking heads. The environment in which they played really didn't change much. It was just kind of average. Yeah, nothing really stands out. Story, there is like no story. It's just this legendary gambler who goes and fucking gambles playing Mahjong. There's no background to any of the characters really, except for maybe his opponents a little bit. But other than that, there is no backstory. There is no real motivation other than money and whatever his little fucking thrill-seeking ass wants. Sound, too many non-existent, like grunts and all this bitching and complaining that is just there to fill the air. Doesn't really focus too much on the game, just the opinions of what's going on and the people around him. Characters, yeah, they're not that good. They're funny at times, very funny at times, but I think it was just not very good. It's watchable, has potential for me.
Okay, I'll give it like a 4 for animation. That's below average for me. I'm sorry. I mean, I think I like this series more than you guys, but not for the animation. You know, the bad computer graphics. Sometimes the proportions were not so good. It's just, you don't watch it for the animation. You know, you're not supposed to be watching some kind of visual spectacle, anyways. The sound, it's like I said, I think they had a good soundtrack that they played. They didn't play it enough, though. There's a lot of pointless dialogue and grunting instead of hearing some cool music that they had lined up for their soundtrack. So I would give the sound like a 6. It's mainly the music is pulling it up, but then like all the voice acting and pointless grunting and stuff is not so good in bringing it down. The characters are very paper thin. Akagi himself, you know, that's the reason why you watch it, is for this unique character. He's pretty interesting and everything. I would give that even a 6 though, because like if you want, Akagi originally came from a different Mahjong series called 10. Let me see what the full name is, because people always just call it 10. It's called 10 Hodori no Kaidaji. That's where Akagi actually appeared from, and he actually has a lot more depth, and he appears in that later on in his life where he's already developed and stuff. So if you were interested in Akagi, you should read 10 instead. But I mean, you're watching this hoping to learn more or anything about Akagi, because when he appeared in 10, his life was already established. But like in Akagi, you don't really know anything about his past. You know, the whole purpose of Akagi, the anime, was to show you more about him, and it doesn't really do that. You know, overall, I give it a watchable too, because I watched Akagi because I found him in a different series called 10.
I think I feel somewhat different in both of you, especially on the animation. I don't feel that the animation was lazy. I felt that I see so much of the same animation and so much anime, so there's hardly any difference. Sometimes the production value is higher or lower, but with this one, it just seemed unique. Maybe they were lazy, but I like seeing something different. The guy did look like the Green Goblin. I think another criticism is, when I first saw Akagi, I thought he was 21 or something, but when I saw his face was 13, then I knew that this animation was different, because I never would have. He was a 13-year-old kid off that animation. But yeah, for the animation, I'd give it a 7, because I thought it was nice seeing something different. And the camera angles, it might have been corny, but it was entertaining. For me, the whole anime, regarding the visuals, was entertaining. And I think that was their whole point. And hey, they got me on that, so that's fine. As for sound, the song the song called Akagi was great. The voice acting was okay, nothing special. The opening, I didn't like it. The second ending music, I didn't like it. Overall, I think I just give it a 5. It just didn't really stand out, except for that one song that is definitely going down as one of my favourite anime endings. Even the animation was good as well. I should note that as well. But yeah, did I give the sound a 5? Yeah, sound a 5. Sound definitely gets a 5. The character, most of them were just funny. There isn't much dimension to them. I would have liked to seen more of Akagi, about why his character is that way. Maybe that isn't the point of the anime, but it's something I would have liked to have seen. But hey, this anime is kind of superficial. They only really want you to see the characters for what they are, and that's it. Don't ask any questions. Fine. When you do that with the game playing, accept he's a genius, accept everyone thinks they're the best at the game, and just watch the battles and enjoy. Most of the other characters are just flaky anyway. They're all kind of arrogant. They all think they're the best. And at the end of the day, you kind of know who's going to win. So, storyline, there is no story. Just like everyone else has said, it's just a series of battles. I enjoyed the story for what it was, just battles. So, I have to give the storyline a 6. I'll give it a 6. I enjoyed it for what it was, but there isn't much there. One thing I really do have to mention, I hated the way it ended, disappointed me, and that's all I'm going to say. My rating for this anime is the same as you guys. It's watchable. I can't give it any more than that, because chances are you don't know what this game is. Most people that are not Japanese might not know what this game is. You can watch it. It's very interesting as a battle anime, but there's not a lot of depth. There's just a lot of funny shots, a lot of funny talking. It's entertaining. It's not
a lot of grown men grunting.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people like it though.
I don't either.
I would have given it an acquired taste, but it's one of those ones that actually has potential if it were to go deeper into detail about all these characters that they introduced.
Yeah, like if they did a second season. Now the thing about what you're saying too is, though, like I said, Akagi came from a different series where you actually learn more about him as a person, and the main mystery about him though is his past, which I thought I was going to get his past when I watched Akagi. And the series 10 that he's in, it's not just about them playing Mahjong. It's actually a slice of life series too. So everybody has more to them than just being a Mahjong player. That's what I was expecting when I watched Akagi, and that didn't happen.
But that manga you're talking about is about it's the same game Mahjong, but it's about a different character.
It follows a different character, but Akagi is a pretty important character in it.
I read the synopsis, and apparently Akagi is like a legend in that anime.
He's already an established legend.
And this guy that you're watching now, he's really good, but he's an up-and-comer.
Right, it's a different point in his life where he's appearing.
It sounds like I would have preferred it if they would have made that manga into an anime, 10, and then they would have made Akagi as an OVA, because then I would have been even more interested. And then if they had the ending with Akagi, I wouldn't have cared.
Even if they had mentioned it at all in that anime, that it was like a spin-off or anything, it would have been way better. It would have had much more established background. Then you could have done your little research or whatever just to figure it out. And this one, you're just kind of thrown in by a narrator, which is the narrator's talking most of the anime, explaining what's going on, and he doesn't mention anything about any of it. You have to kind of go and research it on yourself without much information.
Yeah, I agree. It could have been much better. It kind of looks like there would be a season 2, but it's been 6 years since it came out. It was released in 2006, so it's unlikely, But apparently, you said, oh boy, that one of the characters in the final battle, he's got his own series, a Washu guy, right?
Yeah, the last antagonist, Washizu, actually has his own series now. It just came out. There's only like 5 chapters or something. You can find it. It's not that hard to find. And again, it's not completely centric. Mahjong is a big part of the story, but it's not just Mahjong battles. The characters.
I think that's where Akagi mostly falls off. That it is based. It's just basically about the game and the genius behind the game, with nothing else underneath. I enjoyed it for that, and like you said, One Life. For some reason, it's above acquired taste. I think I could give this to some people, and they'll look at it, and it kind of gives you interest in the game, Mahjong, and for that, I think it serves a good purpose. So
yeah, it definitely made me want to learn about Mahjong more, because I already wanted to learn about it because of 10.
And if you like Mahjong, you will love I think you'll love this anime even more. But again, I had no clue what the fuck this was about. So when I'm watching the game, it got to a point where they were talking about hands and connections I could not follow. And at the end it got very complicated, so I just thought, let me just sit back and enjoy, because I'm not going to figure this shit out. So pawn. Everything pawn.
Now one part though, like they do some interesting things. Like that one part where the guy conned 4 times or something and it got all crazy.
Dude, every time he conned and then they introduced a new tile, fucking, he looked like he was gonna orgasm. Like,
he always looked like he was gonna orgasm, even when he was in a pinch.
Yeah, but even more so, he was like, "I'm gonna burst right now." You're just like, dude, just fucking chill.
Yeah, I mean,
I would recommend it to people who really like Mahjong or who want to find an interesting gambling character persona, because Akagi is very interesting. But if you are coming to Akagi for that, you might as well check out 10, where he's also in it, and he's more, I would say he's more colored in that one than he is in the series that follows him.
I wouldn't give this to like a casual viewer of anime either. It's just one of those ones that they probably would have a hard time sitting down. I found myself squirming around waiting for something to actually happen, but there's not really that much climactic things in here.
Well, there's only one more thing I can really say about this anime.
Fuck you!
Alright, that's enough.